Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event. Fight fans worldwide, you've tuned into the #1 undisputed boxing podcast today. This is the Boxing Breakdown. Now, your heavy-handed, hard-hitting host, Mark Roxey.
Yes, yes, yes. What's up, and welcome to another edition of the Boxing Breakdown. I'm your host, Mark Roxey, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Mr. Harold Hunt. How are you today, Harold?
I'm good. Just enjoying myself. What's going on?
No, you look like you're enjoying yourself. No, everything's going on. It's summertime. There's so much going on. And, I could tell you that I'm running from here to there. You're running from there to here. I know you're in your new digs out in a new state. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm out here in Florida, and it's just a great place to be. I always enjoy the heat, so I'm happy I don't have to deal with any kind of cold or snow or anything like that. So it's a good place to be right now. Happy to be here.
Yes, I would say so. Florida is a great place to be, and lots of boxing down there, as you know. So all you Floridians that are into boxing, make sure you say hello to Mr. Harold Hunt out there. He'll be at a lot of the boxing events covering all of the state of Florida, as well as Atlanta and everywhere along the Northeast, I'm sure. So,
yes.
Yeah, man, I just wanted to catch up with you because we have a lot to talk about. We want to talk a little bit about today on the program, Teofimo Lopez versus Steve Claggett, that fight. Jesse Bam Bam Rodreigez versus Juan Fransico Estrada. And then, of course, we want to talk about the upcoming pending matchup in Newark here in New Jersey with Shakur Stevenson versus Artem. How do you say his last name, Harold? Go for it.
Hartunian.
Look at you, Hartunian. Yes. So hopefully we said your last name correctly. We were debating the proper pronunciation. I'm sure we both got it wrong, but anyway, it's going to be an exciting matchup in Newark at the Prudential Center this coming weekend, I believe it is.
Yes.
So very, very exciting news. And yeah, off we go, man. Let's talk about this Teofimo Lopez fight, man.
Off the top, all the run-up was really good. I mean, the father kind of stayed out the way. They said, "This not causing issues. This is make this money. We don't necessarily have all the hoopla in the past.
Right.
You seem like you're prepared. You got your weight together, and just the whole absence of all the drama that usually goes on with them, which is good because people look for that. You didn't get that this time. So
right.
I don't know if it had anything effect in the fight, but just that run of even just talking about that, that was something good. I can go on about the fight, or you want to comment on what you think about that?
No, I mean, I definitely think it was a one-sided, lopsided, if you will, fight. It was a carry fight. He carried this guy all the way to the unanimous decision victory. And yeah, Teofimo Lopez is 21-1 with 13 big wins coming by way of KO. He landed clean shots. He landed hard shots. He certainly was the more accurate fighter. He was shooting shots from different angles. I thought it was, what you would expect to help keep Teofimo, sharp and moving forward,
Yeah, yes, because Claggett does have he is durable. And a lot of work was done for Lopez's benefit. Oh, no, not saying that he worked on some things, but he had the opportunity to, just kind of go through his whole toolbox in a sense. He wasn't threatened at no time.
No.
So the speed and everything, as far as I remember him having or whatever, I didn't see any drop off.
Right.
And the criticism may come because he didn't take him out, but that boy wasn't going anywhere. So, if nothing else, if you're a purist, you enjoy, that he was able to really show you all his skills. If you was looking for a knockout, you didn't see it, but you still got the flamboyance all through the fight. At the very end, he did as he was to do. He can sell tickets.
Yeah. I mean, what was this business of Teofimo kind of straddling the ropes, kind of had his back up against the ropes for a lot of those early rounds? What was your take on that?
He was right in his wheelhouse. He was comfortable. Who was getting the best of that?
Right. I mean, he was getting the best of it. I just thought it was interesting how I don't know if that
he would do so.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, you know this better than I do. You know that confidence can either be good for you or negative to you. And in both instances, you think it's the best thing in the world, but he felt like he wasn't threatened at all. And he wanted to take a kind of a break.
Right.
I mean, that's how I saw it. And he just did what he wanted to do. And, he didn't need to worry about that particular discipline being a problem for him from Claggett.
Right. Well, Claggett's like 34 years old. Excuse me, 34 years old, and certainly the older fighter. And, in the second half of the fight, I noticed that Teofimo was starting to warm up and use a lot of his, the things that he traditionally uses, which is a lot of angles, a lot of cutting, a lot of shifting, and a lot of angle punches, throwing punches from weird angles,
Stepping around, yeah.
Yeah, it was, I mean, as far as the fight was, it wasn't one of my favorite fights of Teofimo. It was just kind of another fight, for his belt. And I'm sure that's what he needed to stay sharp. And he did that, and he looked good doing, he looked good doing what he was doing in the ring, which really just thickens the pot for the next fight coming up,
And the speculation on that, I can't really say.
Yeah.
Is he going to go to 47? He's going to stay at 40. He's going to, combine at 40. So, there's a lot of speculation for him.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting to watch him toward the end of that last round of the fight. Teofimo was fighting pretty much flat-footed. He was just kind of right there in the pocket, exchanging shots with Claggett. And I don't know what that was about. I wonder if that was more of like he just knew he didn't have any power, or what do you think he was doing that for, Harold?
Yes, he's just saying he's showing Claggett that he's not threatened at all.
Right.
And he's showing, if you want to stay in the pocket with me, anybody else coming up or whatever, I can do that.
Right.
So he just showed his style. I mean, his work in the pocket like that with someone who could not hurt him. So you kind of got, he's giving away film. I mean, not giving away film, but he's giving away some of his. However, if you're in the pocket with Lopez, he may do this. Yeah. And you can actually kind of, hone something around that if you get in the firefight with him.
Right.
I'm just saying. But ego again. And he has some of it. He has some ego. He does.
Yeah, no doubt he has some ego. But you got to have a little ego when you're in the hurt game, man. You better have a little ego and a little, moxie when you're in the hurt game, bro. You gotta be tough. So I'm not mad at him for being tough. That's for sure. So listen, the final scores were 120 to 108, 119 to 109 in favor of Teofimo Lopez. So I mean, it wasn't as if this fight was close at all. And, the question comes, Harold, and I got to ask you this question. Where do you think Teofimo Lopez goes next?
Well, we all know that if he has a weak opponent, he don't do jack. We know this. So to me, he gets a pass because that's his usual MO. If you're nobody of any question, he's going to come in flat. He just does. But when it's something of really, really, you have to be able to go off on. I mean, he has got to work with it. Man, that dude turns it on. He needs just a motivation. So I'm not even mad at him. He showed me what I need to see from him. He looks good to me.
Right.
So whoever they put him in there next is going to be a huge fight. I mean, a big one.
You think it's going to be a really big one?
Yes, I think it'll be a huge fight.
Okay. Talk to me.
This cape of negativity that he's garnered because his fight went this way. I think is going to go with him and help sell the fight. Now, who could it be? I can't really say, but he sells seats, and it'll be good no matter how it is. So he's in the driver's seat. I like what they're going to do with him next, and I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a very good and appropriate question at 140, you know? I mean, fighting at 140 is, you know, it's a tough division, you know? You got WBC is Devin Haney, you got Isaac Cruz and Ishmael Barbosa at WBA, Subriel Matisse at IBF, and then you got the WBO with Teofimo Lopez. So what do you think he's going to do? You think he's going to try to go and secure the WBC and the IBF first? Because that seems like the most logical thing for him to do is to go and, you know, lock horns with Devin Haney, try to get that belt, because that would be a big move, right? And then face off against Subriel Matisse. I mean, that's not an easy fight.
Yeah, but that's no money.
Well, you know,
the money fight is the Haney fight.
Well, they're talking about Teofimo Lopez fighting some guy named what was this guy's name? What is his name? I'm trying to think of his name. Norman or Brian Norman? Brian Norman? Does that ring a bell?
No, it doesn't. Well, it somewhat does, but we're going to look at the fights that's going to make the money. It's going to make the splash.
Yeah, why would they put him up against a virtual no name?
Are you sure? I mean, I haven't heard he's going to fight that gentleman.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. I just read something recently in the on the wire that was something that Bob Arum was talking about. But I'm not sure why Teofimo wouldn't go after Devin Haney right now or Subriel Matisse. I mean, Isaac Cruz. That would be a banger of a fight. Yeah. Oh my gosh!
That's what I'm saying. He may have a mandatory coming up. He has to fulfill.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He's got lined up with Arum saying that he has to do this next fight.
Right.
So he may get two duds in a row, or not even dud. He may knock this next guy out. We don't know. But if he has those obligations, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, the fight with Cruz would be good. That's another fight that could garner some money. I'm just saying, if he's going to do this, he needs to go ahead and get that money right now. And I would say Haney coming off his debacle and with his own little situation not looking that great. You know, they both can rebound in the eyes of the world. I think that's a marketable fight. With Cruz, of course, you know, he's a national hero in Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And that would be a great opportunity for him to really just, you know, snatch everything from Cruz. Everything.
Yeah, but I don't even think Teofimo is in the rankings in the WBC or the WBA. He's not in the rankings in the WBC or the WBA, so that I don't know. That doesn't seem likely, but unless they
get that Saudi Arabia money behind it, everybody's going to be in line, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
You know, they might not be ranking those certain sanctioning bodies, but you know they get paid off just like the whoever is running the fighter, he gets paid off as a sum that causes all that to go away. So if they want to make that fight, everybody's going to fall in line. No one's going to dispute it. The sanctioning bodies, they want their cut too. So if that looks good to them, it will happen.
Right, because
I would like it to be Haney first.
Ooh. I like that. I mean, I really like that. I mean, I just don't see that happening. I mean, I see that the IBF has a rank number 2 that's not rated. There's no one in the ranking of number 2. So maybe they, you know, move Teofimo into that ranking after his recent dominant performance.
You know how they manipulate.
Yeah.
You know.
I know.
So whatever needs to be done, paperwork wise, web wise, whatever, to usher this situation in whatever fashion they have to move belts or this, that, and recess, out of recess, all that is just formulation. If the money's right, they will fight.
I like that. If the money's right, they will fight. You need to coin that, Harold, Mr. Harold Hunt. If the money is right, they will fight. You heard it right here on the Boxing Breakdown, y'all. Money is right, they will fight. So, all right, well, Harold, let's jump on over to Let's talk about Jesse Bam Bam Rodreigez versus Juan Fransico Estrada.
Yeah, that was one of those things, man, where you see an established, well-respected veteran, a champion, beat many fighters down, just gets turned away from as if he never did anything in his career the way he was beat. And that happens to so many fighters. And I've seen it maybe 3 or 4 times where the old fighter just gets beat. And one time, I must say, just out of respect, when Terry Norris beat Sugar Ray Leonard, you old heads know what I'm talking about. That was a tough fight because he still was really, really good, and he just really got beat up. And in this fight here, Rodreigez just simply was not going to be denied, and he knew it was his turn to take this mantle. And he just didn't allow, the champion, the old champion. I'm not even saying he's old. He just said, this is the time it has to pass. And the way he did it was a finality type thing. If you get knocked out quick, yeah, okay, you can get back up, and then maybe you can keep fighting because you were a champion. And it was just a quick knockout or whatever.
Right.
Or, you get on a cut. But when you get beat like that, where it's a systematic beating, everything is taken from you, over the time frame of the fight, and you have no opportunity to be successful. Even all those years, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He is. And he had nothing to thwart this off. Age may have been a situation. I can't really say. I just think it's just the time had passed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that fight that you're talking about between Jesse Bam Bam Rodreigez and Juan Estrada, that fight reminded me of some of the throwback fights of like the early 2000s, even like in the late 90s, like these fights where you have these, Latino warriors, and they're in the ring and they're just pouncing on one another. It was such a good fight. And, to Juan Estrada's credit, he did also drop Bam Bam with a straight right hand, put him on his back as well. And yes. I think the first drop for
his career.
Yeah, it was just a really good competitive fight as long as it lasted, I guess, is what you could say. I mean, was it one-sided like the Teofimo Lopez fight? No, it was not. Jesse Bam Bam Rodreigez is 20-0 with 13 wins coming by way of KO. So, he's not far along in his career. And, Juan Estrada, on the other hand, Juan Estrada's been boxing a little longer. He's been in some very serious wars. His record was 44-4 with 28 big wins by KO. And
the current champion.
Yeah. And he's obviously out of Sonora, Mexico, if you don't know. But, I mean, he's fought Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez twice. He fought him twice. Juan Estrada fought Carlos Cuadras. He's got quite a resume of really, he fought Cuadras twice. He's just fought some really, really great opposition at Brian Valeria. He fought Brian Valeria. That is a career well done for sure. Super flyweight division never looked better. The fight between the two was competitive. They definitely gave the fans everything that the fans came into the arena to see. I just think he just couldn't get it done against the younger, stronger southpaw in Bam Bam Rodreigez. And also, the other thing is that what Bam Bam was doing was he was cutting a lot of angles too. Yes. Footwork was impeccable.
Yes.
It really,
you beat me to it.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that, Harold. But yeah, his footwork was it was very noticeably advantageous in the fight. Yeah.
Yes. From round one, he had the advantage. He constantly stayed where he needed to stay as a southpaw. No matter what was happening, he had that advantage in foot placement. Yeah. And that, when I saw that from round first 2 minutes or a minute or 30 seconds, and he established it and kept it, I knew the fight was over. And that was just what it was. So that's what I saw.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, I didn't mean to steal your thunder on that one, but but we saw the same thing there. I mean, the footwork was incredible. He was peeking around the outside of the shoulder on traveling to his right, and he was throwing that left hand in there. He was throwing it on the body. He had so many angles on his punches. His footwork was impeccable. And the other thing I noticed is he was using his range to kind of shut down Estrada on the counter shot. And when Estrada was trying to lead, Estrada was throwing his punches, and Bam Bam's footwork, he would just kind of like slip back a half a step, drop right in and get the counter. And it was just beautiful work by Bam Bam Rodreigez in this particular fight. They did very good studying.
Yes. When he did get clipped, it was because he got brave and stood in there outside of his reach, like you said. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say hats off to Robert Garcia for putting together the game plan and carrying Bam Bam through the fight, because that they really did their homework on this fight. They knew what they were going to get, and they knew how they were going to beat him.
But he was so committed to the work, the game plan. Yeah. I mean, he was even when he had him where he should have taken him out, but he could have put the gas, the foot pedal, whatever. Yeah, cliche is. He didn't do that because he stuck with the plan and systematically beat him down. And that is more demoralizing to me than, like I said earlier, the knockout.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think. First of all, I don't think either Juan Fransico Estrada or Jesse Rodreigez has anything to be.
That was an excellent fight.
Yeah, and it went all the way to the 7th round. I mean, it could have gone further, but it went to the 7th round. And the scorecards, at the time of the stoppage, I think one of the judges had it as a draw. And another one of the judges actually had Juan Estrada ahead on the scorecards, Harold. So, at the time of the stoppage, I guess I'm just saying Javier Camacho, Steve Morrow, and Robert Taper were the judges, but two of them had Juan Fransico Estrada ahead on the scorecards going into round 7. So how about that?
Well, I have to tread lightly because I do exactly as those gentlemen do on a regular basis along with them. So I can only say this. If that's what they saw, they're trained guys. They know what they're seeing. And in their estimation, that particular fighter was leading each round. Right. I can't say either way because that's why there's 3 judges. Right. So they're all reputable judges, and I'm not hedging. It's just that there's 3 people there. And Mark, you're a judge on such a high level, the highest level of amateur, and kind of what I'm saying here. So I can't, criticize at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, it was a great fight. I'm very excited for what's going to come next, because Jesse Bam Bam Rodreigez is got a lot in store for that. The division, and I just think it's going to be, the super flyweight division is on notice, and now we're going to see who can step up and try to match fire with fire.
Yeah, that's a good little task coming up here. It's something to look forward to, because there's a lot of stuff going on there, and that's always good. You always want to see that. You always want to have matchups coming up that's going to capture your imagination in the months and years to come.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So how about it? Let's get on. Let's move on to to our next topic, which is, I think you're very excited about this topic, Harold. I know everybody, listeners, for y'all that don't know, I've been listening to Harold's rhetoric about Shakur Stevenson for a long time. He loves Shakur Stevenson. So here we go. This weekend at the Newark's Prudential Center, Shakur Stevenson will be locking horns with Artem. Say the guy's last name, Harold.
Hartunian.
Yes, that guy. So we'll be watching this fight very closely to see Shakur Stevenson's progress and see where he is at the present moment. Harold, what do you got on this fight?
Well, he is not a happy camper right now. Stevenson is upset.
Why?
His last fight that was on national TV, ahead of the F1 thing in Las Vegas. For the purists, it looked great. For the people who were looking for the knockouts, it was on prime television. Everyone was watching it. It was free. Right. And it didn't appeal only because, the situation was what it was. So he took a lot of slack, a lot of heat for that. And it kind of died down. He had a lot of stuff to say when it first happened. I hurt my hand, this, that, and the other, blah, not blah, 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 but that's what happened. So that died down, and he kind of got even with it. Then the press conference for this new fight, and everybody, they're trotting that puppy out there, and they're just hitting him with it. So he's pretty upset with the whole situation back again, saying, he can't sell tickets, this, that, and the other. So with Tank doing what he did, Stevenson not only has to talk a little rougher or a little more ragged than he usually does, he has to get the knockout. He has to get the knockout. He literally has to get the knockout. Yes, he got all the titles and all that, but on the heels of what Tank did, on the heels of what Ryan did with Haney, be it legal or not, right, it's still a obstacle that's there. He needs to produce. So he's got a lot of pressure on him to do that. And Mark, as you know, when you fight at home, it's a trip. But he's fought at home. This is his third time. So he's past that overly want to satisfy everybody. He's done it twice already. So now it's about what's going on with him. So I just look for him to kind of be out of his character in the fight, looking for the knockout. And I never liked him to do that. Right. Because if a knockout comes, he's vicious enough to take you out, no doubt. There's no hesitation there. But it's got to be presented to him in a way that is feasible for him. He's not going to go after it. But because of the rhetoric, because of all the narrative, because of his own personal situation going on, he is going to try to do that, get the knockout.
Well, he's facing a very, very rugged and tough fighter. So he's not facing, Harold, a fighter that is not talented. So I believe this guy can go. I don't know a whole lot about him. I've seen him fight a couple of times. He's very rugged. He likes to fight close up. So that plays right into Shakur, because Shakur is not going to let him get close. But it should be an interesting battle and to see if Shakur can actually withstand it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about some other things I've been hearing about Shakur, Harold. And that is that Shakur is going to be, after this fight, after he locks horns on Saturday night against Artem, he's actually going to be a free agent.
Yes.
So let's talk about that, because I feel like that's that plot is thickening, because is this an example of a fight that has been made for Shakur that's going to put him through his toughest test upon leaving Top Rank? Or is this another, showcase fight for Shakur? What do you think?
First of all, he is, in fact, not happy with Top Rank because he feels they did not do a good job representing him, promoting this fight. So that's one little carrot. As far as a tough fight for him or a showcase, it's a showcase. he's got to knock the guy out. He's got to knock this guy out who is Olympian and tough chin and from wherever he is, was Russia or whatever Eastern Bloc country that is, they produce people with good chins and all that.
He's actually from Germany, Harold. He's an orthodox 5'7" fighter from Germany. His record is 12 wins, 1 loss, with 7 big wins coming by way of KO. Yes. And his birthplace is Armenia. So he's actually Armenian fighting out of Germany.
So he's excellent. His pedigree is excellent.
No, he's good.
Yes, there's no doubt about that. So and Crawford got to go through the same kind of thing with the guy he's got to fight, because that's totally outside of Bud didn't do Olympics, but Shakur did. So I'm just saying he could right a lot of wrongs in the eyes of the public if he takes this guy out with the pedigree that he has. I think he'll win the fight and he'll move forward. As far as who he's going to go to, well, there's a lot of suitors out there. Top Rank is not one of them. I don't believe so, unless they unload the truck on him. Wow. I don't think they want to do that, because Bob doesn't care about that. He can always manufacture someone else in that spot. But I think Eddie. I think Eddie will go there. I think Eddie will get it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because there's a couple.
Floyd, I don't want to interrupt, but Floyd got rid of Elby, and then he has Richard Schaefer now. So you got Floyd, Richard Schaefer working together, and Schaefer's got the ear of the Sheik and those guys. So they're all trying to put together some money fights. Right. So if he goes there, he may have an opportunity to go right. So we don't know what it is, but as on the outside, stuff that we don't understand, I mean, we don't see just on the outside as a plain old person, I think he goes Eddie Hearn over Golden Boy, and I think he goes Eddie Hearn over PBC.
Well, Eddie Hearn has expressed tremendous interest. Matchroom has talked a lot about signing Shakur Stevenson in the months and years past. So I don't think that they would not want to sign him. It's just a matter of whether or not Eddie Hearn and the team can afford to sign him, can afford what he's asking to be on the promotion, or they're willing to, not if they can afford it, because they can, but are they willing to pay what Shakur, because Shakur thinks, he's seeing himself as a much bigger star than he's been made out to be at this point in his career. And, does he get a fight with Gervonta Davis? Does he move to a promoter that can make that fight happen? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, the initial signing bonus or whatever they're going to do with him, get him the contract, whatever it's going to be, it cannot be great.
Right.
He just hasn't produced the numbers. I mean, he can say what he wants or whatever, but you look at the numbers, he just doesn't have it yet. He just does not have that opportunity to sign at that kind of number. Right. It's fact. However, if he does sign at that number that they want to bring him in at, his next fight can put him there.
Right.
And if he does a fight-to-fight deal, however that does, he can do something like that. But initially, he cannot. So he is the one who's causing the issue to me. Yes, he's on par with those guys. Yes. But the numbers just don't stack up. And I feel like sometimes his ego won't let him look at the numbers are not the same.
Right.
Yet. Because when they do become the same, he'll outsell all of them, I think. Because once he starts knocking people out, not once, but when he starts knocking people out, he will start knocking people out on a regular. He's going to be wonderful to watch because he's going to box, he's going to move, whatever. He's still going to knock you out,
Yeah, but Harold, not a lot of people want to fight him. That's the problem. That's part of that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say a lot of people don't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. And you can say that it's because of his skill sets. And yes, I can understand why a lot of people would not want to square off against Shakur Stevenson. He's very talented. Skill sets are, bar none at the top of the game. But I think there's another reason. I think that if this ticket sales thing, him being able to pack it in, that also makes it difficult because a lot of the top upper echelon fighters are not going to want to, fight such a rugged, talented fighter that can't produce the box office. So it's a double-edged sword, if you will, So, yeah.
I lose my cachet if I lose you. Let me go, just like Frank did. Frank said, okay, I can lose Shakur and I lose my market share, and I won't be looked at positively again. I'll turn that money in. Let me go get beat by Tank. I'm not saying go get beat, but if I'm going to be beat by him.
Yes.
On the way back down from that big number make with Tank, I'll still do millions. And you get a pass when you lose to Tank financially. If you lose to Shakur, you don't get a pass because now you lost your stink if you get beat by Shakur. Winky Wright did the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, man. No, I
You're Winky Wright, of course.
Yeah, of course. Winky Wright.
He did the same thing.
Well, I mean,
situation.
Again, yeah, I get that. I'm just thinking that the only place that he really would want to go is PBC. I mean, PBC is the spot to go. You know, if he gets signed with PBC, that would be good. The only thing is, who else are they going to fight? Like, who are they going to put him against? You know, who would he fight? I don't know.
Eddie has a capacity to put together anybody with the Sheik and those guys.
Right.
And that being the case, if you go to Eddie, he's going to be able to make it work. And all the other promoters will fall in line. Mark, I know you see the political side of it, all of this. I just see that whoever he goes with, there's going to be big fights because the money's going to be there from the other entity. And that makes everybody friends.
Right.
Everybody.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, you know, what makes friends in this business is the money. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if Shakur can't bring in the money, if he can't bring in the money at the box office, right, it's going to be very, very difficult. Number one, I think PBC has a deal with Amazon, right? That they're doing business with Amazon. So that means that if every fight, every show has to sell big money tickets. And if they don't, that's a problem. That's a problem for PBC. So I don't think that they would ever, you know, to sign Shakur knowing that he can't bring in those numbers, it's just not going to happen. And then for Shakur, it's going to be difficult for him because he's not going to want to fight on an undercard or anywhere else where, you know, where he can have that, what you would call a marquee fight that thrusts him into stardom, right? He's kind of stuck in the middle because he's much better than a undercard fighter. But at the same time, he doesn't have the box office cachet that someone like a Tank Davis has, right? So that creates a little bit of a problem.
What I see is this. If he gets signed to someone, he'll get fed right away to a big fight.
Right.
Because the splash of him signing and his potential will carry, he'll take the low number, but he'll get the big fight, but it'll be right out the gate. They're not going to sign him and then give him another fight, and then try to get him with the big boys. I believe if he signs with anybody, his next fight will be with a big fight. He'll take the small end, but just the narrative of him signing with this new group, and he's fighting this other person, I think that can kind of carry, it can kind of carry it enough where it can be a good fight. I don't know if it'll be on pay-per-view. It should be, but if it's not, it'll be good. But I think it'll be a good fight. So I see him going right to a big fight. And after that, if he wins, then he has an opportunity to build himself up.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely one of the most feared fighters in the division. So I'm not, listen, the lightweight division is not, you know, ready for what Shakur can do. And I think it's showing up in Shakur's pocket because a lot of people don't want to fight him. They're just afraid to fight him, you know?
They lose their money when they lose to him.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go lose the Tank.
Yeah.
I'll lose the Tank, but I don't want to lose to him. There's a Shakur, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yep. You're absolutely right. I mean, if you guys are listening in, thank you for watching the broadcast today on the Boxing Breakdown. You are listening to the Boxing Breakdown.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to tune into YouTube if you want to see I'm not going to say my handsome face. I'm going to say Harold's handsome face. If you want to see Harold's handsome face and my, okay, whatever face, come on over to the Boxing Breakdown on YouTube and tune in and make your comments in there, on all the stuff that we're talking about. Please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notifications on YouTube, and also give us a review on Apple Podcasts. We would greatly appreciate that. And Harold, I just want to thank you so much for today. It's been a great conversation. We hope we've updated you guys that are tuning in. It's a big fight. Artunian, right? We got a big fight this weekend against Shakur Stevenson versus Artem. Go ahead. What's how you say his last name?
Artunian.
I just can't say. I mean, I probably could say it, but yeah,
it's the end on the end. Artunian.
Artunian. You got to have that little ring on it. But listen, guys, we got a bunch of big fights coming up. We got Shakur Stevenson fighting this weekend. It's a 12-round fight for the WBC lightweight title. We've got Keyshawn Davis is going to be fighting on that card. Abdullah Mason, Louis LeBron. It's a stacked card. It'll be really, really fun.
Mason, take a look at Mason, of course. Young, from a family of fighters. Yeah. Well-schooled, very tall, and very powerful. And he has a really nasty streak, so he's fun to watch. And who was the other one?
Louis LeBron is who he's fighting. Louis LeBron's a very good fighter as well.
Right. But the fight you said before that. Well, anyway.
Oh, Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis.
Yeah. Keyshawn's been talking, and he's actually getting the opportunity to to live up to his talk. So he's continuing to move forward.
Right. Well, we also have William Zabera versus Giovanni Cabrera. That fight is 12-round lightweight fight on July 6th in Ontario, Canada. July 6th in London, England, we've got Johnny Fisher versus Alan Babic. That will be an interesting fight. July 6th in Anaheim, California, we got Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. So that'll be a good fight. There's a lot of fights in July. We got a fight in Japan. It's Kazubo Loco versus Fernando Martinez.
Those some good fights over in Japan. You guys ever wake up in the morning? They really no clinching, the punches, and all hard.
Yo, you know who's fighting out in Japan coming up in a couple of weeks?
Who?
Is shout out to Jonathan Rodreigez from Indios Boxing out in Bethlehem. Yeah, he's got a fight again, and
good for him.
Yeah, man, it's on DAZN, so it's going to be a very cool fight. I'm actually looking it up. Anyway, that fight's coming up. We'll have more about that fight. I'm hoping to get him on the podcast anyway. All right, Harold?
Okay.
All right, brother. All right, peace and love. Thank you for tuning into the Boxing Breakdown. And until next time, we'll see you on the next episode. Peace and love.